The Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act, 2016. The Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act, 2016, was passed by the Indian Parliament to fulfill its obligation to the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which India ratified in 2007. Introduction. The Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act, 2016, provides that the appropriate government shall ensure that persons with disabilities, PWD, enjoy the right to equality, life with dignity, and respect for his or her own integrity equally with others. The government should take steps to utilize the capacity of the PWD by providing an appropriate environment. Background. The Act replaces the existing Persons with Disabilities, Equal Opportunity Protection of Rights and Full Participation Act, 1995. The Rights of Persons with Disabilities Bill, 2014, was introduced in Parliament on the 7th of February 2014 and passed by the Lok Sabha on the 14th of December 2016. The bill was passed by the Rajya Sabha on the 16th of February 2016 and received the President's assent on the 27th of December 2016. The Act became operational on the 19th of April 2017. The Central Government Rules 2017 were notified under Section 100 of the Act and came into force with effect from the 15th of June 2017. It fulfills the obligations to the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, to which India is a signatory. Objectives. The Act aims to give effect to the principles laid down by the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. The Convention provides for the following principles for the empowerment of persons with disabilities. A. Respect for inherent dignity, individual autonomy including the freedom to make one's own choices, and independence of persons. B. Non-discrimination, circa, full and effective participation and inclusion in society. D. Respect for difference and acceptance of persons with disabilities as part of human diversity and humanity. E. Equality of opportunity. F. Accessibility. G. Equality between men and women, and H. Respect for the evolving capacities of children with disabilities and respect for the rights of children with disabilities to preserve their identity. Important provisions. The important provisions of the Act are: disability has been defined based on an evolving and dynamic concept. The Act defines a PWD as a person with long-term physical, mental, intellectual or sensory impairment which, in interaction with barriers, hinders their full and effective participation in society equally with others and, therefore, requires special provisions. The list with types of disabilities has been increased from 7 to 21. It includes speech and language disability, specific learning disability, acid attack survivors, dwarfism and muscular dystrophy. It also included 3 blood disorders, thalassemia, hemophilia and sickle cell disease for the first time. The Act provides reservation for persons with benchmark disabilities and those with higher support needs in higher education, not less than 5%, government jobs, not less than 4%, in the allocation of land, poverty alleviation schemes, 5%, etc. The Act provides that every child with benchmark disability between 6 and 18 years shall have the right to free education. The government will fund educational institutions, as well as government-recognized institutions shall provide inclusive education to the children with reasonable accommodation. Special courts will be designated in each district to handle cases concerning violation of the rights of PWDs. The Act provides for penalties for offences committed against PWD and for violations of the new law. Violations shall be punishable with imprisonment up to 6 months and/or a fine of 10,000 rupees, or both. For any subsequent violation, imprisonment of up to 2 years and/or a fine of 50,000 rupees, 500,000 can be awarded. The Act provides power to the government to notify additional disabilities, a clear recognition of the need to factor in conditions that may arise as a result of an aging population, an inevitable part of the demographic transition. Persons with benchmark disabilities are defined as those certified to have at least 40% of disability. Criticism. Critics argue that imposing criminal liability punishable by imprisonment for acts of insult or intimidation is severe and prone to abuse. Further, the terms insult and intimidate are not defined. Also, some provisions of the new Act and rules introduce ambiguity. For instance, the use of the term ensure is incongruous with the fact that it is not mandatory for private companies to hire persons with disabilities. However, Section 35 refers to the appropriate government providing incentives to employers in the private sector to ensure that at least 5% of their workforce consist of persons with disabilities. To date, no such incentives have been notified under the new Act, the rules or any subsequent circular published by the central government or the state government. Importance and impact. The objective of this Act is to provide PWDs access to inclusive education, vocational training and self-employment without discrimination, and also to buildings, campuses and various facilities. The government should launch necessary schemes and programs to safeguard and help PWDs living in the community. Appropriate healthcare measures, insurance schemes and rehabilitation programs, cultural life, recreation and sporting activities for the PWDs should be taken care of by the government. All government institutions of higher education and those getting aid from the government are required to reserve at least 5% of seats for persons with benchmark disabilities. 4% reservation for persons with benchmark disabilities is to be provided in government posts with differential quotas for different forms of disabilities. Awareness and sensitization programs regarding PWDs are to be conducted and promoted. Standards of accessibility in the physical environment, different modes of transport, public building and areas are to be laid down and have to be complied with before a 5-year time limit. Access to information and communication technology is to be ensured. It is expected that the new law will not only enhance the rights and entitlements of Divyangjan but also provide an effective mechanism for ensuring their empowerment and inclusion in society satisfactorily.